Hello, viewers. I would like to welcome all of you to this session. We will start the formal session exactly at 11:30 so that everyone who wants to join in will join. Today, we are going to talk about the career avenues that are open to all school leavers, those who have passed out of school either by doing their class 10 or class 12. So, let us look at some of these options. I'm just waiting for it to be 11:30 and we can then start right away. Just 2 more minutes to go, waiting for viewers to join in, and then we can start the formal sessions. Um, I hope all you can send me in your comments through the chat mode. Uh, to say whether you are hearing the voice live. अगर आपको आवाज क्लियरली सुनाई दे रही है और सब कुछ ठीक से नजर आ रहा है तो प्लीज आप बताएं और अगर नहीं आ रहा है तो भी बताएं ताकि मैं ऑडियो सेटिंग्स को ठीक कर सकूं. So please let me know whether you are hearing everything nicely. So if all is well, then we can begin the session in a minute from now, just to check whether everything is in order. You are hearing me loud and clear. Uh, just before this session started, I have sent you a PowerPoint presentation on starting your or choosing your um, career avenues or career avenues for you. This is a session typically for designed for the arts and commerce stream, and we will be taking another session on the science stream on Monday. So um, if you are all set, we can just let me know through the chat whether you have received the presentation on your post this particular site. It is called Selecting Career Avenues for You. Okay, I'm getting your messages now. Some are simple thank you messages. The other are messages regarding that they are hearing me loud and clear. So let us begin now. It's exactly 11:30 and we should respect time. So today, again, welcome all of you to this session on career avenues for school leavers, people who have passed out from arts or commerce stream, and we will be talking about them today. Now, when a student passes out through school, uh, he has the biggest question that he has in front of him is, where should I go? Do I go in for what kind of career avenue should I choose? Should I go in for an arts-based career? Should I change my stream to another career like a BBL LLB program or a BA LLB program, and so on and so forth. So today let us discuss some of these things. Let us first begin with, if you just want to, after doing your class 12 with arts, and I will begin the discussion with the uh, people who have passed out with an arts stream. So we will start talking about them and then we will go to the other stream, that is commerce. Please remember, some of the avenues that we are discussing will be common between arts and commerce, and I'll indicate when that discussion is being done. Now, before I begin talking about avenues open to you, I want all of you to very clearly understand some basic considerations that you must consider even before you start your choice. Now, the first consideration, and it's a very, very important consideration, is that, and this is really truly basic, but it is very important and very critical. What is your interest in life? What is your passion? What is it that you want to do? Um, आपका खुद का इंटरेस्ट, खुद की चॉइस क्या है? आप क्या करना चाहते हैं? आपने आर्ट्स लिया, आर्ट्स से पास आउट किया, बट इज लैंग्वेजेस योर इंटरेस्ट? इज हॉस्पिटैलिटी योर इंटरेस्ट? आप हिस्टोरिकल चीजों के बारे में ध्यान देना चाहते हैं, या अल्टीमेटली आप सिविल सर्विसेज में जाना चाहते हैं? तो सबसे पहले जो आपको अपना कंसिडरेशन करना, और कई बार हम लोग बहुत सारे ये फैक्ट ऑफ लाइफ है कि बहुत सारे बार हम बहुत सारे प्रेशर्स में आते हैं, कभी पेरेंटल प्रेशर होता है, कभी आपके फेवरेट टीचर्स भी आपको कहते हैं कि तुम इसमें बहुत अच्छे हो इसलिए तुम ये करो। प्लीज रिमेंबर, आपके ग्रेड्स और आपका इंटरेस्ट दो अलग अलग चीजें हो सकती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू हैव अ नेचुरल स्किल फॉर मैथमेटिक्स एंड यू आर वेरी गुड एट मैथमेटिक्स, बट योर इंटरेस्ट में लाई, लेट्स से इन फाइन आर्ट्स और वट एवर। The first thing, the very first thing that you need to consider very clearly is what makes me smile. The thought of what uh, the a particular avenue, career avenue that puts a spring in my step, जो मुझे आनंदित करता है, मैं क्या करके बहुत खुश रहूंगा, सबसे पहले आपको वो कंसिडर करना है। हो सकता है कि बहुत सारी करियर एवेन्यूज जो कि बहुत ट्रेडिशनल है, उनमें से कोई चीज आपको ज्यादा एक्साइट नहीं करती हो, लेकिन मैं आप सबको कहना चाहूंगी कि आप लोग एक अच्छे समय में हैं इंडिया में, कि अभी बहुत सारे करियर ऑप्शंस खुल गए हैं। इसके बारे में भी अभी हम बात करेंगे। तो जो पहली चीज आपको कंसिडर करनी है अपनी तलाश शुरू करने से पहले इज व्हाट इज माय रियल इंटरेस्ट इन लाइफ, व्हाट इंटरेस्ट मी विद इन माय सब्जेक्ट्स, विद इन माय चॉइसेस। If I think of my life ahead, what is it that really and truly excites me? So that is the first consideration, my own passion, and how do I want to live my life. So that is one. I mean, there are people who think that making lives better for everyone else is my passion in life. Therefore, you may choose careers which lead you deal with people and so on. Other people may think fine arts is something that really excites me. Music is something that excites me. Writing is something that excites me. So then you may make your choices, which may make your passion come alive. So that's the very first consideration. The second consideration, and I'm being very frank, is that what is my own capabilities? Uh, what are my skills? What are my skill set? Do I talk well? Do I write very well? Can I conceptualize things well? Do I have design capabilities? Just try to assess yourself. And please remember, if you have an interest but do not have at present capability, you're still very young people. You can develop these capabilities by going through a particular kind of career avenue, and therefore choose the career that can give you those capabilities, or choose the stream that can give you those capabilities. So the first question is always about my interest and my passion. The second question is, which naturally follows, is what are my capabilities? What am I good at? What I what are the avenues that I want to become good at? So there are people who write very well but may not speak very well, but they want to go into a teaching career. Now, because communicating your ideas fundamental to a teaching career, then you may try to choose a program that allows you to practice your speaking skills and so on. The next issue that you must consider very carefully, and again, some frankness is in order. What are your present resources and what are your potential resources? When I say resources, what is the time you have at your disposal? Are you in a position that you can study for another 5 years and then start your career? There are there are a lot of people who want to start earning fast. So do I need to do a diploma and get into um, creating resources, and I can then worry about continuing my education later on? Again, you are living in very good times, because we are living in an era of lifelong learning. There was a time where after people finished their learning and went into their careers, they could not continue their learning as they were going on. Today, everything is changed. We have a huge number of options through MOOCs, through various other platforms like Swayam, that you can continue your uh, education even as you go on, when you are in a full-fledged career and so on. So what are your present resources in terms of time, in terms of money, and in terms of support that you have? So you need to assess that. So do you want to, are you, there may be people who may want a program, let's say in somebody wants to do hotel management and wants to go to Switzerland because that is one of the best schools, best places to get hospitality education. But do you have the kind of resources today, or would you be able to get these resources later? Are these your potential resources? The good news, again, you people are living in good times. The good news again is that now educational loans are available. Even if you may not have personal resources, you can always take an educational loan and pursue your dream. Again, the important thing is what is your basic interest in terms of pursuing a particular career. The next thing that I would like to underline is, what are your dislikes? They may be um, what is called favorite choices, or very um, what is called preferable choices by your family, other people, and so on. But if you have a dislike for a particular subject, my advice to you at this stage, you're very young and you may actually be able to overcome your dislikes over a period of time. But if there is something that you acutely dislike, if there is something that you, for example, working in teams, working on your own, or a managerial kind of position that you do not like, then please do not be pressured into going into that avenue. Because if there is something that you actively dislike, then you probably will never be able to excel there. You will go through a career, you will give maybe decent results, but it would not excite you every morning. It would not fill you with a great zeal to do get extraordinary results. Therefore, a good idea is to also very clearly understand yourself. Uh, what is it that I acutely dislike? If I dislike being in large crowds, then something that takes you to a public career where you will be dealing with large numbers of people, those are things which may not be a good choice for you. Something that is very creative, if that's, I mean, you have realized that while you are an art student, you probably do not really like drawing. You may not like creative pursuits, so anything like graphic design and all, even though it's a potential and a profitable career, if you dislike doing that, don't be pressured into going there. So these are the four major considerations. uh, and there is an environmental reality that I would like to share with you before we begin our discourse on actual avenues, is that you are living in exciting times in India. Your career choices have multiplied. Earlier, there used to be very limited choices for given disciplines. For example, if you had done arts, you would do your BA and your MA and get into teaching or get into other avenues related to pursuit of art, appear for the civil services and so on. Today, partly because of the impact of globalization, partly because of our entering the fourth phase of industrial revolution, which is the knowledge era, and because you have a huge impact of technology in our lives, there are a lot of exciting and slightly unconventional careers that have become available. Design is a whole domain. Writing and blogging is a whole domain, and we'll be talking about all of these. So your career choices have multiplied. They are no longer limited. You should therefore have access to information on what are the choices in front of you. And today is one of the exercises in creating some kind of an informational setup for you, that what could be the possible avenues. So this is one part of the story, that your career choices have multiplied. The other story is that your competition has also multiplied. In India, a very large number of people are coming into higher education, and this is only set to explode. So for every choice that you make, that your competition has multiplied. So getting into good colleges, finding your ideal college is important. So this is a sort of a mixed bag. So while the choices are many, the competition is also quite a lot. um, so for the art stream, let me begin by talking about what are your various choices. We will talk about the typical art subject first, and then I will talk about what are the other avenues that become available to you once you've passed out of school, even if you have the art stream as your specialization. The first avenue that I would like to talk about is psychology. Psychology is a growing area. And if any of you have read about the World Bank report, which says so many careers will disappear, one of the careers that is likely to grow in times to come is careers related to application of psychology. So you may get in your BA psychology and then do your master's. There are several avenues that people go into. The various choices are counseling, uh, psychiatry, social counseling, and industrial psychology, where you get to become psychologists. Then people go into organizational behavior and work in companies. So there are a lot of avenues that open for you when you do your um, you pursue a career in psychology. So psychology is one of the popular choices that are there. And please remember, in the art stream, once you do your graduation, there are certain other avenues that also then become available, and you can actually go into different, you can cross streams, which is now possible. The second area that you might want to go in is history. Now, history is again a matter of interest. What is it that you really like? And please remember, a lot of people, this for a lot of people, these bases are decided on the basis, on the ultimate choice. If they want to enter into civil services, then they choose the subjects which they think are more scoring, or which will give them a greater possibility of getting higher scores, so, or doing better, because they think they have a natural interest, so they'll be able to. So psychology is one, and the second one I was talking about is history. Now, history also allows several career avenues to go for you to go into. You can become a historian, you can become a specialist in different periods of history: modern history, medieval history, ancient history, and so on, and pursue your career. Please remember, teaching in these areas is again an option that is always open to you. So history also allows people to go into careers related to museums, so museology and so on. Those are further specialization that can be entered into. The third avenue within arts could be archaeology. I'm saying this in relation to history again. If past and historical things and what happened in ancient times and how does it relate to the present time interests you, then archaeology is again a good career avenue. There are bachelor's programs and ultimately master's program. A lot of people have very successful researches uh, in this domain. So uh, B arc and then M arc and so on, and as you go on. So archaeology is another uh, promising area of activity. And at this time, today's session, we're not really talking about which colleges you should go to and so on. All this information is very easily available on your career site. So I will not really be talking about the best colleges for archaeology or the best colleges for history. That is information that can be looked upon at the college ratings and so on. So let us not go there. We are just talking about avenues. The third avenue that you can actually look at is political science and international relations. Again, political science is a very popular choice of people who are doing their graduation after pursuing their art stream, because again, it allows you a good entry point into the civil services, and also allows you to branch out into areas like public administration and so on. Within political science and public administration, a lot of public careers open to you. You want to go later into policy planning or policy making. This is an avenue that would let you go there. You can do your master's within political science, or you could do it in international relations. When you go into international relations, other career avenues like diplomatic services and all become available to you, or you can begin serving in the diplomatic offices of other countries that are available in your own country. So those are the options that you may have when you go into political science and international relations. The next discipline is economics. Economics, as they say, is the master discipline, in the sense a lot of branches that we study today as applied disciplines actually came from economics. So avenues like econometrics, um, uh, econometric analysis, um economic policy making are all, and uh, people also believe that disciplines like marketing and all have really evolved from the basic master discipline of economics. So it's a master discipline and a fairly popular choice among people who want to pursue, who want to have higher studies in arts. And then within economics, you could also choose your specialization in analytical economics or econometrics and so on, and go further. Again, for people who are wanting to go into civil services, this is a fairly good option. So, and in our country, you have several very good uh, institutions where extremely good economics education is available. And the last stream that I would like to talk about within your art subject is sociology. Sociology is a very vast area. Within sociology, then people can go into social work or applied sociometry and all of those. But sociology is a fairly, um, again, a wide choice that people take very often. Generally, people with the sociology background could also specialize further and go into other streams. For example, people with sociology go into careers in social psychology, go into careers in organizational behavior, and so on. So all of those avenues still remain open to you. And study of societies, social applications, your advisory on non-governmental organization, and so on. Sociologists go into a lot of these streams. Um, Now, these are the mainstream social, art subjects. Let us also look at avenues that are open to um, art students when they've passed out of school through an art stream. I will like to talk about the career in law. Uh, Earlier, you could only get into a law program after you have done your graduation. So, after people did their graduation in whatever subject they wanted to, they could get into a law program. Today, since the last 10 years or so, the Bar Council of India created an integrated 5-year law program, which has become a career of choice. The these are 5-year programs, and students can enter immediately after doing their class 12. Um, because these are relatively priced seats in a lot of colleges, you have to appear for an entrance test, which is called CLAT, Combined Legal Aptitude Test. And if you do well, then you would be able to get into the college of your choice. But the good news is there's a lot of provision. There is for the 5-year program, and for people who want to join in immediately after 12, there are a lot of openings, and a large number of institutions exist. You can look at the ratings to assess what kind of institution you want to go in, right from the national law schools to the university programs to private university provisions and so on. So all of them are there. So, and the choice that you have is doing a BA LLB or a BBA LLB. Once you do your CLAT and you clear it, you can decide what to do. The only thing, that avenue that may not be open to you, is BSc LLB, because that requires passing out with a science stream. So BA LLB, a 5-year integrated law program, is again a good career choice, provided you want to get into a legal career. This has become a sort of avenue of choice, and every year lakhs of students appear for these tests and make their choices. The next avenue that I would like to talk about is in the field of journalism and mass communication. So, journalism and mass communication, with the kind of media presence that we have today, media is everywhere. They are the electronic media, the social media, the print media, and within print media, the magazines and the newspapers and so on. So that requires, and today, if you look at the electronic media, we have so many 24-hour channels. So there are several roles that people play there. People play the role, the avenues that are open to you are writing, creating, uh, editing a video, become a creative advisor to various video programs, become a video editor, become a copy editor, become a design editor, become a sort of a presenter in various format, presenter for a program, anchor for a program, become a journalist, and start either in the print media or become a journalist who's a video journalist and presents on the TV and so on. Now those are exciting choices, and today they are very, very high paying choices. Especially if you're in the electronic media, you can actually create a lot of wealth by uh, serving the society, in the sense, when you're a news editor or a news journalist, you're serving the informational needs of people, and that is a need that goes on. So this is a career that is a long term career, and it's not one of the careers that the World Bank said certain careers will disappear in the new century, but this would not happen. And these are careers that will go on because people's need for information, cutting out the clutter and getting actual information would always be high. So, a very popular career choice. And this is again something you can start immediately after your class 12. So within journalism, there are and mass communication, there are various choices. Another choice that becomes available to you if you do a journalism and mass com thing is careers in advertising. So you may not want to really become a news person, but you can become a creative person. And within advertising, there are choices in terms of media planning, media choice, media director, and so on. There are choices in creative activity where you become a advertising copywriter, copy editor, and so on. As so, there is a very lucrative line of career which can be there. Um, the next avenue that I would like to talk about is hospitality, which means hotel management as a career. You could actually look at again, look at the various choices that are open to you. I did talk about in the very beginning where I was referring to resources, is that there are schools, very good schools in India, but there are also very good schools outside India. So again, you may need to decide what is it that you want to do. You want to complete your education here, or you want to go abroad and look at some of the avenues there. But let us talk about avenues that are available in this country itself, and we can actually look at the various options that are there. Uh, when you say hotel management, you can do, and within hotel management, you can choose do you want to be a front desk kind of a person? Do you want to go into the culinary activity, or do you want to go into the managerial side? So there are various options that you can choose and determine. But again, once you enter that career avenue, you can make your choices in the second or the third year as to what really excites you and what you want to do. The next area is the area of design. There are whole courses on B design. It's called BDes. This is the short name for it. Design is a whole discipline that has become a very exciting and a very varied kind of an opening. You can, once you get into the domain of design, there are institutions which offer up to 10 different choices within the design domain. You could go into industrial design and help people in designing of products and so on. There is, apart from industrial design, which is design of the factories and so on, then you can get into mechanical and production design, where actually help people design their products and future offerings. People go into textile design, people go into fashion design, people go into animation, design, animation, and creativity, and so on. So there are huge choices that are available to people on if you get into a design career. And uh, in India, there are also highly popular careers like extrusion and plastic design, where people get into molding design and so on, and get into another complete area is packaging design, and it's part of the industrial design, but it's a different avenue that comes in and is again a very lucrative and very highly demanded career. So these are some of the options that are available to people in the design avenue itself. Then you come into the uh, domain of integrated programs. Um, when you we just talked about one of the integrated programs, which is a BA LLB program, and you can get in there. You can also do an integrated MBA program immediately after 12. There are some institutions, a lot of institutions actually, and a lot of them are in the public university domain, some private universities also, where they start the management discipline right from the class 12. So you can get into a BBA, MBA kind of an integrated program. So you begin early and then get into a BBA, MBA kind of a uh, program domain. So if, but for that, when you get into an integrated program, I'm again sounding a sort of word of caution here is that your interest area should be very clearly um, considered, because if you want to get into an integrated program, you're giving 5 years of your life. And after the third year or the fourth year, you decide that no, law is not for me, then you've already put in a substantial chunk of your young life there. So go back to the first question: what is it that you really want to do with your life? Again, uh, not everything is lost, in the sense, even if you do a 5 year program and then you want to change your streams, it's still possible. But it's a good idea to sort of conserve your resources of time and effort, and therefore have a clarity of choice. Because if you do a 3 year graduation and then go into different kind of post graduation programs, that's fine. But if you take a 5 year integrated choice, then you may uh, find it difficult to make a decision halfway through. So before you take an integrated program, please consider again and do carefully decide whether I want to get into an integrated management program where I first do my BBA and then I do my MBA. There is a certain time saving. When you do a BBA MBA, you get a dual degree, a BBA and an MBA degree. But instead of taking longer time, you actually take a shorter time. Similarly, for your BBA LLB, instead of taking 6 years for the 3 for BBA, 3 for your LLB, you actually save time. It's a 5 year program. So make those considerations, or have those considerations very clearly in your mind. So we've talked about an integrated program. We've talked about arts-based choices. I would now like to talk about slightly more specialized program, which are more applied in character. Um, and which may actually sometimes become available to you once you've done any graduation using the avenues that we've already discussed. So, programs in event management, which is again, you can go immediately after 12. There are graduation programs directly in event management, specialized institutions which are offering programs. And event organizing is again a very upcoming kind of a career, because requirement is multiplying. People uh, want to actually outsource this activity to event managers, and the event managers then organize these could be social events, it could be political events, this could be family events, and so on. So event organizers could range from conferences and seminars and international symposia to uh, family events and so on. So, or social events, or mass social movement and so on. So these events are a reality of our life, and they require trained event managers, and that is again a good choice. The next avenue that I would like to bring forth is careers in social work and social service. A lot of people join non-governmental organization as a chosen career. Generally, the requirement is that people should come in with some background in social work. So there are graduation degree in social work, and we have some of the best institutions in the world in our own country which train people in social work and social responsibility. People in social work can also go into corporate career within the CSR, the corporate social responsibility domain, or organizations are supposed to have a dedicated CSR budget, and generally they use the services of either a trained sociologist or people who are trained in social work. Again, uh, a lot of international organizations that work in the country require trained social workers to work with the community. Community programs launched by the government also require the help of social workers and people who are trained in social work, because social expenditure accounting and all are very different. Working with people, working at the grassroots level, getting results, getting outcomes is a very specialized kind of work, and you can actually get into this if that is something that interests you. Uh, the next avenue that is worthy of mention here is foreign languages. People today say, I mean, how many, I'm sure quite a lot of you would have heard about the term 21st century skills. There is, and if you have not, please go to your internet, just type out 21st century skills and talk about, see what the World Bank is talking about, see what the World Economic Forum is talking about. They say that in order to survive and live successfully in the 21st century, we need certain skills which may or may not be part of your curriculum. Today, of course, most curricula are becoming very updated, and some of these 21st century skills are being incorporated there. Skills of creativity and innovation, teamwork, and so on. So a lot of skills there, and I'm not really going to talk about it here. But one of the skills is working in cross-cultural groups, and if you know a foreign language, this is a good avenue that you may want to explore. Please remember, you can take it as a full-fledged avenue and go into learning of languages like French, Spanish, and so on. Learn a foreign language or pursue a language within India. So there are people who choose languages like BA English honors or BA Sanskrit and so on. So those are avenues that are open. The advantage of doing a foreign language, and I would say even if you're choosing another, uh, this is again a sort of unsolicited advice that I would like to offer, is that even if you're pursuing other graduation disciplines like sociology or history or psychology that we talked about earlier, it's always a good idea to pick up a foreign language additionally. So you may actually get an additional registration and get a foreign language. It's good while you are growing up to learn at least one or two foreign languages. It improves your employment opportunities significantly. Now, when you do a foreign language, you open up other opportunities like work in translation, work in related embassies, and so on. Copywriting, copy editing of these documents becomes an avenue that becomes available to you, which may not be open to other people who do not have these proficiencies. The next one is careers in fine arts. Uh, and fine arts is all performing arts like music, instrumental or vocal, the Indian classical music, the cinematic arts, and other fine arts, whatever fine arts like drawing or painting, or these are all fine arts which can also be branched into other uh, branches like graphic design, graphic arts, creative arts, applications again in advertising and so on. So you can actually find your application as an artist by pursuing careers in fine arts and music and so on. Um, uh, let's look at the remaining areas. The next area that I would like to talk about, and again, it's a question of your interest. The first point that we discussed when we began this presentation is careers in travel and tourism. After graduation, you can pick in programs that give you skills to become a travel guide, a tourist guide, uh, again, careers in tourism in terms of tourism planning and so on. So those are again, provided travel interests you, provided your desire to work with people and get them to appreciate the finer aspects of your own country or any other country. If those are things that interest you, then travel and tourism are good options. And again, today you have programs at the graduate level in travel and tourism. The next mm, career avenue that I want to talk about is your career as somebody who writes content. Now, this career could begin directly. The careers of writing blogs, creating content, making content available, becoming a content writer is open to all of us. There are food bloggers. I see very young people, actually, people who are still children who have become very active bloggers, and this becomes an avenue of earning as well as creating, provided all that interest. If you can put your ideas across well, and if you can interest people, and if you can constantly create newer presentations in terms of what you want to talk to people about, you writing, creative writing as a career is one of the good careers. Again, this you may come to this career after doing your languages and so on, or after doing your graduation in some other subject area and then become a writer and blogger. But this is something that is always available to you. You do not really need a degree to create uh, to become an active writer. However, qualifications in creative writing are good to have, and there are programs in creative writing that are available as part of your BA English or BA Hindi, and you can get into creative writing by becoming by getting into a writing career. As I said, a lot of blog writing that is very popular, and a lot of industry sites require content writing. Educational institutions which are in web design and web based marketing require a lot of content writers, and they are highly in demand because the more we go onto the internet based era, the requirement of content which is innovatively presented, nicely written, would always be there. So, content writing is a good area of work. Um, the next thing is a diploma in education. If after your class 12 you've decided that you want to get into a teaching career for the younger classes, and as I said right in the very beginning, in terms of your resources, in terms of the your uh, do you want to start your career immediately after your class 12, you or immediately after a small certification that can allow you to start working? Diploma in education is a good avenue that allows people to get into some of these teaching careers, sort of a foothold into the teaching career, and you can always keep on adding your qualification if teaching is something that excites you. So, diploma in education is another branch that is available to you, and uh, people can actually pick up the basic tenets of school teaching, and then add on to their qualification in terms of lifelong learning avenues by doing a B.Ed and a master's in education and so on. Very soon, integrated teaching careers would become available. It's called an integrated B.Ed program, where you can enter into an career as an educator right after your class 12. I would like to sort of finish the art stream discussion by talking about the civil services. A lot of people who pass out of schools with arts background or with the arts stream want to actually get into the civil services uh, careers later on. Now, in order to pursue a civil services career, you will have to do your graduation, because the basic entry qualification is graduation. And this takes me back to the subjects that we were talking about, subjects like sociology, psychology, history, uh, even a 5 year integrated law are all subjects that can give you the detailed knowledge of one particular domain. You can choose those subjects and then choose this as your stream for appearing in the civil services exam. Public administration, as I said, is one of the popular choices because people believe that they can score higher in this particular subject because the domain is very self-contained and you can get into. So again, question of your interest, question of what excites you, then becomes your subject domain choice, and you can get into service careers. Please remember, civil services is one of the most highly rated careers in this country, even now. And there are, within the civil services, there are several allied services and the main civil service, but there is a tough entrance process. You have to apply and then you have to appear in an entrance uh, test followed by a personal interview and so on. So these are several barriers to cross that you go in, but most people who've gotten into civil service feel it is all worth it. And you also get the chance to participate in the policy making of the country and affect many lives. So if you that is something that excites you, by all means, prepare for the civil service and get into those avenues. I would now like to talk about the choices for, before I end, We've been talking about careers which allow you to get into a particular job stream. One particular career that is open to everyone, I mean, this could be regardless of streams that you have, is to become your own master, become your own employer. I'm talking about the entrepreneurship careers. You can choose and train to be an entrepreneur by choosing programs like PBA or BMS or whatever, and or getting into entrepreneurship training, and then keeping on uh, adding your qualification. There are dedicated institutions in this country for entrepreneurship education, starting right from your class 12 level and onwards. So, if you want to train to be an entrepreneur, somebody who is not an employer seeker but an employer giver, so if you want to create an organization of your own, this could be in the service sector, could be in the manufacturing sector, and so on. You can make those choices. If your family is in business and you want to set out on your own, or you want to do your family business more professionally and get into an entrepreneurial career, by all means. This country requires a large number of entrepreneurs who can create jobs for other people. So again, that's a very good avenue for you uh, to pursue if entrepreneurship is something that excites you. So if creativity and innovation is something that is a strong streak in you, if you are willing to sort of create an enterprise and create avenues for other people to work and be your own master yourself, create wealth, create jobs, entrepreneurship is a career for you. So that is where I would like to move to the commerce stream and begin talking about careers that are available to people who passed out of school using commerce as a stream, pursuing commerce as a stream. Let's look at the careers that are directly available to the commerce people. One is something that we've already talked about, the integrated law program, the BBA LLB program. The reason I talked about it the first is it's a very popular choice. A very large number of commerce graduates pursue a BBA LLB program. Again, a 5-year program, an integrated program, but you must be clear after your class 12 that this is where you want to go, because you would have invested 5 years of your life, um, and if after the third or the fourth year you recognize that law is not what you want to do, then you would have invested a lot of your time in an avenue that you are ultimately not interested in pursuing. So the first avenue that is very popular, very lucrative, and open to people is BBA LLB. Once you do your integrated law programs, you have several career choices. You can become an independent lawyer, you can work for a law firm, you can become a legal advisor to institutions or organizations, you can become an advisor to the government, or work in the social domain. So there are a large number of avenues that become available to you because knowledge of law and application of law is something that almost every avenue of work uh, requires. So, useful career. The second is something that we've already discussed when we were talking about the choices in the arts domain, is the integrated MBA program. You can join a BBA come LLB come MBA program. So you enter into a management career right after your 12 by entering the integrated MBA program. And again, as I said, there are dedicated institutions which allow you to pursue this program. The third avenue that is available to you is the Bachelor in Business Administration program. Enter, it's a graduation degree, it's a fairly popular choice. And today we have BBA programs which allow you to specialize in various streams. So once you get into your BBA program, you can go into BBA accounting and finance, you can go into BBA banking and financial services, you can go into BBA human resource, and you can go into BBA marketing and sales. So a large number of careers again become available. If you want to pursue a career immediately after doing your BBA, middle level managerial careers become available to you in terms of, and there are institutions which also allow a specialization in insurance. So There are some which do BBA and financial services, and insurance is one of the choices. There are others who do BBA insurance as a separate sector. So you can actually choose your program and get into these careers. A lot of people after their BBA get into banking careers, and uh, again, sales and marketing is a popular avenue for a lot of BBA graduates who want to get into their careers without going into the master's program. And a related and an allied program is BMS, Bachelor in Management Studies. So instead of calling it BBA, they call it BMS. It is a similar degree. The emphasis may be slightly different, and again, like a BBA program, the BMS programs also have various streams that they uh, allow people to specialize in: marketing, HR, banking and finance, accounting. So these are the separate streams that may be there. And you may decide once you go into the second year of your BBA and BMS, those career choices become available to you. Now, let's look at some of the dedicated or hardcore careers in commerce. And I would like to talk about the company secretaryship as a choice. You can uh, get into a CS program while you're doing your BCom program, uh, and pursue it as you're doing your BCom. Company secretaryship is a fairly uh, specialized career in the sense, uh, it is about training to become a company secretary, and you would know uh, that it is a legal requirement in this country that beyond a certain size, companies having a paid up capital of a certain size need to necessarily have a company secretary on their rolls. So, as long, I mean, there would always be a requirement of company secretaries. So, it is again fairly uh, well organized and self contained kind of a program, very, very specialized knowledge. Um Company secretaries are required in all corporate activity and have an important role to play. So, if you want to train as a company secretary, and please do not confuse a company secretary with administrative secretaries which work in who work in offices. That is a different career. Company secretary is a trained corporate professional and has got a code of ethics and a special professional responsibility, so it's a different kind of domain. The next one is your chartered accountancy. Again, chartered accountancy, people decide very early in life whether this is the career that excites them, and they possible to enter your CA right after your class 12 and pursue it. And again, a highly specialized accountancy branch, uh, requires a lot of labor, requires hard work. But again, people who go into these careers feel it is well worth it. So, um, chartered accountants become independent practitioners, set up their own offices, can work in firms. There are major accountancy firms in the world which employ a lot of thousands of chartered accountants. They also are required in corporate houses. So there are a lot of applications that are there. A lot of chartered accountants get into income tax practice and business taxation practices, and are again uh, fairly lucrative avenues of careers depending upon how much hard work you're able to put in. So, chartered accountancy is one. Again, related but a more basic career is your BCom accountancy. Um, Instead of BBA, you could actually choose to strengthen uh, BCom as a career and go into various branches. There is some discussion that is done while people are choosing careers in terms of whether you want to do a BBA or you want to do a BCom. Both are careers available to commerce graduates, but BCom is more specialized as far more uh, attuned to the study of accountancy, banking, auditing, and so on, whereas the thrust in BBA program is on business administration. So general administration of the business is a thrust here. So you may decide what is it that interests you more. Both are valuable and fairly popular degree programs. So BCom accountancy, and within that, then you can choose other streams like banking, financial services, sales and marketing, and so on. uh, Interestingly, careers in technology are also open to BCom pass outs, people who've passed out of school doing their commerce can also get into a BCA program. A large number of BCA programs in this country allow any kind of class 12 people to enter the Bachelor of Computer Application program and software development. So, if you did not get into a sort of a computer and mathematics kind of stream when you were doing your class 12, and it was probably not available. If you want to enter that career now, you can. So bachelor in computer application is another avenue, and I do not need to tell you what are the kind of various openings that are available to people after computer application. They can go into software design, they go into a large number of applications, they can work in offices in helping their computer centers and so on. They can also go into computer training, I mean, training other people, developing other people's capacities, and so on. I would like to now also say that all these avenues that we discussed about the art students in terms of um, journalism and mass communication, hotel management, avenues in design, integrated MBA program, which I already talked about, event management, civil services, social work and social service, foreign languages, um, travel and tourism, and content writing, as well as DA, are all available to commerce students as well. So I don't want to repeat the entire discussion again. It's part of this video and is available to all of you. So these careers are available and open to all those who have pursued their commerce stream, and therefore travel and tourism, hospitality, hotel management are again popular avenues. So since you have been listening to what I was talking in terms of these career options, let us not go over those again. What I would like to repeat, however, is that all commerce pass outs also have the choice of becoming an entrepreneur. And I want to sort of uh, underline this, because if you look at the type of uh, industrial environment in India, uh, a large number of your enterprises are small and medium enterprises which have been created by entrepreneurs. And today, this whole business of technical entrepreneurship, design entrepreneurship, starting your own business is available to all of us. By all means, train to be an entrepreneur. So these are training programs that are available to you once you have done your class 12 and they become available. This country, like all emerging economies, needs a large number of entrepreneurs to create wealth, create jobs for people, create avenues of employment, not only for yourself, but for others. When you create an enterprise, you go on a path of creating sustained wealth, provided you have a business idea that is viable and can go on for a long time. Uh, and you would have heard of things like venture capitalists that become interested in a good idea. You would have heard of success of people like the Oyo creator who created world class wealth. You would have heard of term unicorn. Unicorn is a business enterprise that creates millions of dollars of wealth and so on. So those are very exciting opportunities. And generally, when people do their school, complete their school education, they generally think in terms of getting into further education and getting into a job. By all means, getting into employment is a very viable option, but creating employment for not only yourself but creating wealth and employment for others, and creating uh, creating an opportunity for sustained wealth creation in this country is something that becomes building blocks of your own economy and becomes a lasting legacy that you have. So when you create enterprises, you leave uh, something, leave your footprint on the sands of the economic firmament of this country and become a valuable resource for others to follow. So, entrepreneurship is something that I would like to excite you about. Even if you want to pursue your graduation, please remember that by choosing an entrepreneurial career, you can actually create organizations rather than just work in an organization. So, uh, please think or give this a very active consideration. Um, Entrepreneurship training is a interesting avenue to pursue, and again, a lasting way of contributing to your country and contributing to the well-being of a large number of people, depending upon the size of the enterprise you have. Today, this country has a lot of support that it gives to entrepreneurs in terms of entrepreneurial finance, advice, um, skills and development training, prototype development training, and so on. So, a lot of support in terms of policy framework and in terms of expertise help that is available is there. There are institutions which help specific aspects in terms of design, in terms of prototype testing, in terms of financial support, not only by bankers but by non-banking financial institutions. And if you have a big idea, then things like venture capitalists and so on. Banks have a special priority funding for entrepreneurs, and other soft loans can become available for small, very, very small enterprises. um, Grameen banking type of loans are available, and different kind of microfinancing or micro credits are available for those who are uh, women and want to start these enterprises. There is this whole avenue of uh, women-based loan services that are available. Rashtriya Mahila Kosh, which helps women entrepreneurs, especially in rural and less developed areas, to set up their enterprises. So, the reason I'm spending this time on entrepreneurship as a career is I want at least some of you to become employment generators rather than just employment seekers. Of course, these are choices you can exercise anytime in your life, but if you begin thinking about it right now, you may actually be able to give solid shape to your ideas once you've gone through your training and development. I would like to close this session now. It is almost time, and your questions and comments are most welcome. So, if you want to give any comments now, you can, and we would like to respond to these comments as a follow up of this session. I have some comments which are talking in terms of a thanks message or others, but not too many comments on the content. So I would like to end this live video, and you can always come back to me through your comments if there are questions you want to ask. Thank you very much for participating, and my best wishes to you. Please stay safe and stay connected.